well and left this pricey downtown real estate project frozen. The feeling of gloom has set in even here on the brand new campus of the American University in Madaba.
These are tough times in Jordan.
Yeah, and unemployment is really high. And Jordanians, they're worried about the future. They're worried about, like, yeah, we're living right now, but what's going to happen in the future, you know?
So it's very difficult to judge the amount of discontent at this particular time. But it is there. There is no doubt about it. And it's up to the government to work well, to reestablish credibility and to convince people that it is on the right path of reform.
South African President Jacob Zuma has called on the police to have more esteem for civilian rights during an address celebrating the country's Human Rights Day. And clashes between rival gangs have continued in Egypt near the headquarters of the ruling Muslim Brotherhood in Cairo. For more on these and other stories, we turn to Canal France International News Roundup.
Supporters and opponents of Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood clashed outside the party's headquarters in a suburb of Cairo. Despite the intervention of riot police, activists ransacked the building. More than 120 people were injured in the fighting. Similar protests erupted in violence in Alexandria, the country's second-largest city, and in Mahalia. Opponents of Egypt's President Mohamed Morsi accuse him of having betrayed the revolution and of having failed to address the country's social and economic problems. UN Special Envoy Christopher Ross arrived on Friday in Laayoune in Western Sahara. Mr. Ross will attempt to reopen a direct dialogue between the Moroccan government and Western Saharan separatists. An offer by Morocco to grant Western Sahara greater autonomy was rejected by the Polisario Front, that is calling for a referendum on independence. Following his visit to Laayoune, Mr. Ross will head to Algeria for talks. Algeria also lays claim to the region. On Thursday, during an address given on the occasion of South Africa's Human Rights Day, President Jacob Zuma called on South African police to show greater respect for citizens' rights. President Zuma referred to the massacre of 34 miners in Marikana and said that police officers would be required to subscribe to an official code of conduct soon to be put in place.
The man widely regarded as the father of modern African literature has died. Nigerians are mourning the death of acclaimed author and poet Chinua Achebe, who died in a Boston hospital at the age of 82. We have more on that in this report.
Acclaimed Nigerian novelist and poet Chinua Achebe has died at the age of 82 in a hospital in Boston in the United States. Achebe is considered by many as the father of modern African literature. He gained international recognition with his novel Things Fall Apart, which was published in 1958. It was translated into 50 languages and has sold more than 10 million copies worldwide.
I write to be read, to be acknowledged. In other words, it means what I've written has made some impact somewhere.
Things Fall Apart is about traditional Igbo culture's collision with British colonialism in the 1800s in Achebe's native southeast Nigeria. It was the first book to tell the story of colonialism from an African perspective.
I think that a lot of people, a lot of writers who are working, today really aspire towards writing a book like Things Fall Apart that sort of had an impact on world literature in the same way.
Chinua Achebe's novels, poetry, and essays address poor governance and corruption in Africa. Nelson Mandela read Achebe's work while in prison in South Africa and once referred to him as a writer in whose company the prison walls fell down. Today, Nigerians are mourning the loss of a great writer and intellectual.
Chinua Achebe was an icon, one of the best, and his death is a great loss to Nigerians.
I feel very sad. It's a great loss to the literary world. It's someone who's had great influence on African literature, whose impact will be greatly missed by everyone.
Chinua Achebe spent most of his latter years in the United States, where he lectured at universities. His last book, There Was a Country, The Personal History of Biafra, was published in 2012. It is a memoir about the conflict in Biafra, which declared independence in 1967 and sparked a war that lasted until 1970.
R.I.P. Chinua Achebe. We now take another break. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. The Gambian Scorpions this evening lost 3-0 to highly fancied Ivory Coast in the latest round of the 2014 World Cup qualifiers. The Scorpions held their own against Africa's top-ranked side until a second half show of pure class from the Elephants, who were missing some notable names, including the country's top marksman Didier Drogba. Dutch-based forward Wilfred Bony opened the scoring with a penalty after Yankuba Mal Cisse was adjudged to have pulled an Ivorian player inside the area. The Scorpions' defense line creaked after that opening goal, conceding 2 more goals, courtesy of midfielder Yahya Toure and Lille forward Solomon Kalou. The defeat to Ivory Coast means Luciano Mancini's side is yet to win a single game in the qualifiers, which leaves the side rooted at the bottom of the group. But before we draw the curtains on this edition of news, a reminder of our top stories. The Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Dr. Esetunjai Sedi, has discussed potential investment ventures with members of the National Black Growers Council in the United States. Stakeholders in the health sector have scaled up efforts at increasing awareness of the danger the tuberculosis disease poses to the lives of people. South African President Jacob Zuma has urged the country's police to respect the rights of the citizenry as South Africans mark Human Rights Day. And Nigerians are mourning the demise of Chinua Achebe, the man widely regarded as the father of modern African literature. That's all in this edition of the news. Thanks for being there, and do stay tuned to GRTS and enjoy our program. From me, Farmer Fopo, and the rest of the new team. Bye-bye.
Getting frustrated with your mobile internet? With QCell's fast, reliable and affordable 3G internet, you can use the internet the way you want, when you want, and wherever you want at unmatched speeds. You can have access to all your favorite sites and applications like WhatsApp, Skype, Facebook and Twitter. With QCell, you can stream videos and download the content you want effortlessly. QCell Mobile Internet. Stay connected.
nanka déedéet duñ def nanka waa lu tax loolu Tiara flavor drink dafa neex waaw waaw wax le ma ci flavor yi ma dégg an orange laa bëgg man strawberry laa bëgg man mango laa bëgg man pineapple coconut laa bëgg man berries laa bëgg man pineapple laa bëgg te Tiara flavor drink moo ma sawarloo Tiara flavor drink xale yi bëgg nañ ko te itam mag yi bëgg nañ ko ñëw na si juróom benni fosami flavor pineapple coconut berries strawberry mango ak itam orange ñu leen ko andil ñii di waa MFH group ak waa King Food Banjul Tiara flavor drink moo fi man
ñim si bi promotion youth in action di leen indil la li ñëpp namoon yekkamti woon ko lool sax bëreetoo